Walk me through that day and how you came to be at the Sari Club.
Well, we only arrived that afternoon, and to be quite frank with you, we weren't going to be anywhere else at the Sari Club. We just grabbed a few tables there, sat down, and I guess where we could check all the talent coming in through the front gate.
You took a drunk mate back to the hotel and you were on your way back.
Well, I saw a person staggering out of the Sari Club, and I looked and thought, God, how drunk's that guy? And it was Ellie, and he started heading off away from the Sari Club, so I thought, I'll go and check.
You took him back to his hotel?
So I took him back to the hotel, and that's the only reason it saved me. I was just ambling down Poppy's Lane, looking at a few of the shops and just enjoying the night air and the incense. And it was quite strange. A few of the shops had music playing and the lights were on, and all of a sudden there was a thud. It wasn't a loud bang, it was just a dull thud. The lights flickered and died, and they probably weren't maybe 10, 20 seconds, I don't know, but it seemed a lot longer. And then it flickered, the noise started going again, and this big orange cloud lit up the sky. And my first thoughts were, shit, a gas main's exploded. I didn't think, the last thing that was in my mind was there's a bomb. I just thought it was a gas main. On the right-hand side, the Paddy's bar was well alight, and people were just screaming and going on. And there was days people walking past me. There was one girl come past, and her arm was just hanging by a scrap of skin from the elbow, and she didn't seem to be in pain. I guess she was in a state of shock. And then I looked to the left, and it was just utter chaos. I raced up to the front of the Sari Club, and it was just a nightmare. It was just a nightmare. There was people screaming, people on fire. I'm trying to find the boys. I couldn't see any of the boys, so I started going into the Sari Club, and there was just bodies lying everywhere. There was a couple from Maroubra, and what had happened was that the wife had been pinned by a big board, a big lodge from the waist down, and the few of the guys had tried to lift it off and couldn't do it. And I later learned that was Geraldine Buck, and her husband Steve just sat down with her and wouldn't leave her. He sat there with her. He pushed all the boys away, and they all got outside, and he sat down there and held her hand, and he kind of he burnt to death with his wife, and incredibly tough man to be able to sit there with that heat and just stay with his wife. I mean, that's the sort of stories that I don't think really get told, but there was there's a lot of heroes that night. A lot of people put themselves in danger to go in and help whoever they could. It got to about 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was nothing more I could do at the Sari Club. The heat was too intense. We couldn't get in, couldn't get anywhere near the place. So I rang my girlfriend in Sydney, and she answered the phone. I said, Jude, it's me. There's been an explosion or a bombing here in Bali. I'm okay, but a lot of people are hurt and there's a lot of people missing. Just let the family know I'm okay, and I've just got to go and find out what's happened to the rest of the guys. With that, I walked outside, I hopped in the cab, and I went straight to the hospital, Shangri-La Hospital. I walked in, and it was just absolute bedlam. There was two little Balinese girls who I don't think could speak English at all. They were being confronted with about 40 people, I think speaking 40 different languages, and I just had a look of utter bewilderment on their faces, and all these people are just yelling at them, trying to find out what's going on. It was an awful night, and it lived with me for a long, long time.
Does it still live with you?
Look, there are moments you'll hear a name, or you hear something, and it reminds you of the guys.
The images of you returning to Australia in the days after the bombing were beamed around the world. How do you look back upon that time?
Coming back for me was quite possibly the toughest time. And I walked out of the airport, and all the guys that hadn't gone with the brothers, Clint Thompson's brothers, and girlfriends, and a lot of friends. And Ellie walked out, Kefo walked out, and I walked out, and they seen us, and they looked to see who else was going to come out. And after I came out, and they realised no more was coming out. They kind of visibly wilted in front of me. That's when the guilt hit me. I thought I'd let down so many people. I went away with them and I didn't bring them home. It took me a long time to forgive myself.
Erik,
I'm sorry, mate.
We know.
Mate,
a lot of people
Righty.
don't worry about it, mate.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to get him home. I was struggling, and Ryan Thompson, Clint's brother, came over, and he told a reporter, he gave me a hug, and a reporter stuck a microphone in our faces, and Ryan told him to F off very, very smartly, and then he just said something to me which has stuck all the time. He said, Erik, please don't feel guilty. We needed someone like you to come back and to tell us what had happened.
What have the last 10 years been like? Is it something you think about every day?
There have been a few nights of late because Bali's getting closer. And when this time of year, I tend to start waking up early, even earlier. There are times I wake up at 12 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning. And the memories are pretty vivid in my mind. And I find it incredibly hard to go to sleep.
How's the Bali bombing changed you?
Look, I think it's changed me for the better. I think I'm a nicer man than I was 10 years ago. It's strange. Some people treat you as a superstar, which I certainly don't feel like a superstar or a hero, but some people look at it and they just don't know what to say. And realistically, they don't have to say anything. You know, it's sometimes support is just about being there and being able to put your arm around that person and say, hey, there's nothing I can do for you now, but if there's everything that you want, then I'm here for you. And sometimes that's enough in itself.